All right, welcome everyone to episode 4 of Tail Life TV. I want to thank you for joining us this evening. This is the 4th episode. I know it's taken me a little bit to get going with these podcasts, and I thank you for your patience as I've worked through some technical issues. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Nikki Karis, your host of Tail Life TV. Tail Life TV was born from my love of rescue animals. I have several animals here at my home. I've dubbed it the Karis Animal Sanctuary. And I have put together a website called Tail Life, TAIL-life.com, which is sort of an all-encompassing site, including merchandise for pets and humans, as well as various media components, including a podcast, soon to come social media site, and other venues. I also am featuring artists, rescues, and I also have a Pet Souls memorial aspect to the site where you can memorialize your pet both in the present and the ever after. So there's lots to come in terms of Tail Life and Tail Life TV. If you haven't seen the first 3 episodes, you can go onto my YouTube channel, Tail Life, or Rumble, which is also Tail Life. And you can go back and watch the prior episodes. The first episode, the premiere episode, was me just sort of introducing myself and sharing my thoughts about the present state of the world, and especially how it's impacting the animals, including our pets. Episode 2, I interviewed Jackie, who adopted a Bahamian potcake named Ara. Ara has passed on, and Jackie shared her journey from the time she adopted Ara until Ara's passing. In episode 3, which aired last night, I interviewed Lois Craft, who is a pet and animal portrait artist. She shared how at a later stage in her life, she discovered this talent and began painting animals. She actually did one of my handsome boy Picasso, who passed on November 15th, 2021. And for tonight's podcast, I will be interviewing Angela Esparza, a wonderful, wonderful woman who not only has a pack of giant dogs, she is also involved in rescuing giants such as Newfoundland dogs, St. Bernards, and Great Pyrenees. And she also, during COVID, started her own business known as Biggie Bee's Natural Treats. So I really look forward to you hearing Angela's story tonight. So without further ado, let me welcome her into the studio.
Hello.
Hi, Angela. How are you?
Good. I actually have Biggie here.
Oh, yes. Well, let's see Biggie.
There he is.
Oh, my goodness. He is so handsome.
He's looking at all the treats.
Wow. So if you, and like I told you, we're just going to be very casual with this and let the conversation take it where it's going to take us. But since you have Biggie right there, he was obviously your inspiration for your company and known as Biggie Bees.
Yes. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead and share with everyone how you came to start this new company and what it's all about.
Biggie is actually 7.5 years old now. And when we rescued him, he was just a baby. He was maybe 10 weeks old. And he came from kind of a bad situation where he's half St. Bernard, half Great Pyrenees. And the person who bred him, he was the last puppy left. And she somehow got my info and messaged me and said he needs to go by this weekend. So we drove up to Leesburg and got him, and he was kept in a chicken coop.
Oh, no.
Yeah, in a smaller chicken coop. So his legs didn't grow the way they should. And he has severe hip dysplasia on his left side. He basically has no left hip socket. So we tried everything with him with regular vets and University of Florida, and there really wasn't anything besides give him Rimadyl, give him meloxicam, give him as much medication as you can, and you'll maybe have him for a year, and that's about it. So with the help of a couple Newfoundland breeder friends, they recommended holistic medicine and acupuncture and a really, really great chiropractor for dogs, Dr. Peggy Fleming. And
And
we
where
went,
is Dr. Fleming? Not to interrupt you. Where is
she's
she
in
located?
she's in on the border of Dade City and Brooksville. She
Okay.
actually works on horses and people, but because he's so big, she also does giant breed dogs too. And
Oh, wow.
she saved his life. So we did a ton of acupuncture. We actually had permanent gold beads implanted into his digits and his elbows and knees. It's a Ayurvedic form of permanent acupuncture.
And
And
say that again. That was implanted?
it's called a gold bead method, and it is
Okay.
a permanent form of acupuncture. So
Okay.
with that, with laser, with herbs and supplements and diet, um, within like 2 months he was running and he was playing, and I mean
Wow.
like a goof. I mean, he looks like a rabbit when he hops, but he can do it. He can do it all. So we've
That's
just
amazing.
continued with that, and he's not on any painkillers besides CBD every now and then. And that's kind of what prompted my treats, where I've always cooked for the dogs,
Mhm.
and I've always made like meatballs and treats and stuff. But it really made me go the holistic route
Mhm.
with trying to help him. So that's kind of where the joint discs, these here, came into play. It's a golden paste base where I tried to get them all to eat turmeric and all of that. And because
Oh,
the
yeah,
smell
they
is so
hate it.
potent, they
They
spit
hate
it right
it.
out. And I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, this is staining my carpet and my white floors. So I created a treat that has that in it, and it's masked with honey and cinnamon. So it
Oh,
tastes
wonderful.
good. So that was kind of his treat that I started with him. And then he also has storm phobia and all of that. So I
Oh, wow.
also do a CBD treat for him. So everyone in my pack kind of has, it's kind of weird because every treat is based off of one of my dogs for a need. So they're not just, go potty, get a treat. It's more of a supplement treat all in
Right.
one. So it's not just gonna, make your dog fat.
That's great. Now, and let me go back. So with your dogs, do you cook for them? I mean, they're big dogs, so
Yeah, I cook, but then I also use raw dehydrated patties.
okay.
I use a little bit of dry food,
Mhm.
just for when, I can't cook enough, but then I also cook their food. So I do a scoop of home cooked food, I do dehydrated raw, and then I also do dry. So they get a mixture of
We get
everything.
a
That
mixture.
they know they're getting everything they need.
I used to do when I first started with my sanctuary, probably from like 2011 or 12 till about 2016, I did raw feeding.
Mhm.
And
It's a
it
lot
was
of work.
I mean, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So, Clearwater Egg and Poultry, who let me put a plug in for them. They're amazing. I love using them. I love the owner and Kevin, David and Kevin there. And they would literally pull up with like a truck and drop off like 700 pounds of meat.
Wow.
And then at the time I had 3 people working here, but it took 2 full-time people to skin
Mhm.
the thighs and package them. We had to weigh everything and package. Unfortunately, due to finances, I've had to cut back on the amount of help here at the sanctuary, and we just physically cannot do
Mhm.
that anymore. It was,
It's a lot of work.
and God bless you, because your dogs are twice as big as mine. So maybe why don't you share their weights? Because that was just, people think I have big dogs because I have, off the streets of Turkey.
Mhm.
But then when you told me about yours, I mean, yours blow mine away. So,
Well, Ella's the smallest. She's 5.5 months old, and she is 63 pounds as of last week.
oh, wow.
Marvin is around like 120,
Mhm.
and Penny's 130. Otis is 150 ish. And then Biggie is 160, but we keep him super lean just
Right.
so his legs can support his body. So he's probably he could weigh 15 pounds more, but I would
Wow.
rather him be able to run and jump and walk and all of that.
So that's amazing. So you're basically caring for him via the holistic route with
Correct. They had said in the end of the road, worst comes to worst, last ditch effort, we can do a hip replacement.
Mhm.
But the issue with that is the bad hip is on the bad hip is on the bad deformed leg side. So his
Okay.
recovery wouldn't
It
be,
would
they
be
said his
difficult.
recovery would be difficult because for him to compensate, he would also be on that bad leg getting up. So we decided at 6 months old, when we were told all of this, that we would not let him suffer. We will give him the best quality of life that we possibly can for as long as we can and not be selfish. So he goes to McDonald's on Mondays. He gets cheeseburgers. He does whatever he wants to do because,
That's great.
you know,
And how old is he now again? 7?
he'll be 8 in January.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that's amazing. So when's his birthday? Do you know?
January 1st.
Oh, okay. He was
Yeah.
born right at New Year's baby.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful. Well, you have just leaps and bounds. You have, done for him. I mean, gone above and beyond what so many people would. But that's what, to me, it's all about when you have your animals. They're like having children, and
Absolutely.
you wouldn't
Absolutely.
abandon your children if they had a disability or something was wrong with
Right.
them. So we shouldn't abandon our pets. So
Right. And I feel like he has taught me so much. I mean, I've learned so much about that world that I didn't know. I didn't know about magnetic therapy
Mhm.
and Ayurvedic medicine as much. I didn't. So I've learned so much from him that I thank him, because I
He taught
wouldn't
you.
be doing what I'm doing and be able to do more in to help other animals if I didn't experience this with him. So I thank him for that.
And so with your products, I went on the website the other day. So you have them sort of divided into groups by the type of product.
Right, right.
Okay.
Because like Otis, my Newfie, my brown Newfie, he's our oldest right now. He's 9 and he has allergies. He's the type where if he gets a little mosquito bite, he's going to chew a huge hot spot. So I make a treat for allergies. And then I also have another treat that he likes, which is the peanut butter treat, which is just a fun treat. But yeah, Penny has one because she has a sensitive stomach. So I have my tummy tamers and my pumpkin. And then Marvin has one. He likes the cranberry treats. And he's actually my puppy mill rescue. And he, knock on wood, he's the healthiest of them all. I've had the least amount of issues with him. So he gets all the fun treats. He gets the venison treats and he gets the fun stuff.
So, and let me go back. Biggie was your first big dog, right?
No, Otis was.
Oh, Otis. Okay.
Yeah. Otis is 9. He's our first giant dog. We got him when he was a puppy. We drove to West Virginia for him, and he's a brown Newfoundland. He is like having another person in the house. He's super sweet, but he does have a lot of skin issues and allergies. And I think being in Florida kind of aggravates that a little bit with all our pollen and our trees and
the heat.
ants. And
what about the heat? They tolerate the heat?
They do, because they're so lazy that they will swim and then they sleep the rest of the day. Or we'll go out in the morning and play. We go out at night and play. And then they're pretty content with laying on the couch and sleeping all day. So they'll exercise when I exercise them, but they don't have a ton of length in that exercise. So yeah, and their coats actually thin out. Their coats acclimate to this temperature, but I keep them raked out completely so they don't have that thick woolly, coat.
Do they have a because some of my Anatolian Shepherds have a double coat?
Yes, they have an undercoat.
They have an undercoat. Okay.
Yes. So when they go swimming, Penny is my swimmer. We taught her water rescue. So when she goes swimming, if you don't touch her while she's in the water, her actual skin doesn't get wet. That barrier almost
it's amazing. Like it's almost like, anyway, I've seen that on my one, especially my one Anatolian Maddie. Her back end is so thick, the fur. It's like compacted. I sometimes I have to sit and pull it apart. I'm like, and you literally cannot get water to penetrate.
Yep.
So,
yeah.
And do you have it, I'm thinking about it. I'm not sure why. I forget why they have the double coat. I know it's for the weather.
For buoyancy too.
For buoyancy. Okay. I knew there was another reason, but I wasn't sure why. So
Yeah.
that's amazing.
Keeps them floating.
And so let me well, let's go back. You had Otis, he was your first, but let's go back to why you ended up with the big dogs. And let's put her picture up here. I want to share this precious photo of Bones.
There she is.
So before you had big dogs, you had small dogs or a
Correct.
small dog.
I mean, I had all sizes. I didn't giant breed, but she was my smallest, and she lived 17 years.
Wow.
So when she passed, it kind of, killed me inside. And I fostered a litter of pugs that the breeder passed away. And it was just too hard. It reminded me of her. So we found them all homes. But then I volunteered with my parents to do a transport for 2 Newfoundlands who their owner passed away in Montana, and they were getting them back to the breeder here in Florida. So we were the last part of that leg of the trip, and I just fell in love. They were so sweet. We were strangers, and they just laid down in the back of the car, and I was like, I have to have one.
The transporting, I did that for a couple of years, assisting the Chipley Animal Shelter in North Florida. And that was really rewarding.
It is.
Really helping them get to their next destination. And it was just amazing how people just stepped up and filled the different legs of the journey, all over the state. I never went out of the state for it, but, I think I did like Lake City to Seffner one time, or Lake City to Wildwood. And truly it was really, really rewarding to help these dogs get out of the shelter and get to their fosters or their rescues, wherever they were going.
Absolutely. I think that's where we picked up too, was Lake City.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's how you started. So that's how you fell in love with the Newfoundlands.
Right. That's how I started with the Pyrenees rescue as well. I started doing transports for them because there were so many that they were bringing in from like Alabama and Georgia, and I just started transporting with them, and I was just shocked on how, the condition they were in was so bad, and they were so thin, but they were so sweet and so happy and just gentle, and I was like, they've been beaten down, and they just are happy to be there.
Yeah. It's the puppy mills, the breeding, it's really an issue. The overbreeding, I'm not against if somebody does it responsibly,
right? Absolutely.
But unfortunately, there's a lot of irresponsible breeders, and that's why we have so many animals, cats, dogs, you name it, looking for homes and sadly being euthanized in our shelters every day.
Absolutely.
It's absolutely heartbreaking. So I love the Pyrenees. I have a Pyrenees mix off the streets of Turkey. Her name is Tansy. I forgot to share a picture with you of her. And they are definitely independent.
Absolutely.
Beat to their own drums. So.
Yes.
Well, that's awesome. So anyway, so this is Bones. I just saw it was an adorable photo.
That is Bones. And it's funny because she was my high school graduation present. And when I left home and I took her with me, my parents were so devastated. They got 2 pugs.
Oh, wow. Well, let me share. I want to share some of the slides of your business. I love what you've done with the logo.
Thank you. It's Biggie.
And so he was your inspiration. So, and this all started during COVID, correct? Like you
Correct.
Decided to follow your passion, and this is something you wanted to do?
Yeah. I was working from home with my job, and I just had more time to dedicate towards it, and more people were asking me for treats. So I was, sending them out, and I entered into a recipe contest with Solid Gold Pet Food, and I won. And when I won, I was like, okay, maybe this is what I should be doing. So then I actually, started doing, started legitimately doing it, and, creating it and all of that. But yeah, it started during COVID.
Well, beautiful. And so everyone who's watching the podcast, on the bottom, you'll see it says visit biggiebees.com for products. So you can go on to Angela's website and purchase her products. And you also have them in 3 locations local to us here in Florida.
Yes, in Tarpon Springs, Moonberry Mercantile. They have treats, they have raw cow's milk, they have kombucha, they have fun home stuff. And then in Brooksville, we're at Fresh Picked. That's downtown Brooksville, and Happy Tales Pet Supply in Brooksville as well.
Oh, that's wonderful. And you also do subscription boxes?
I do a monthly subscription box where you get 3 bags of treats. You can pick your flavors, or you can have me rotate them, and it's free shipping. And I send it out the first week of every month. And then there's always like an extra goodie in there each month.
Oh, beautiful. And let's see, we have another photo here. Give me just a moment. And I think, do you do some of the markets as well?
I do. I work my 9-to-5 job during the week, and then I do markets on the weekends.
Oh, beautiful. This is great. Do you know where this was?
That looks like it was Dade City. Dade City Marketplace, yeah.
And do you ship nationwide?
I do. I ship throughout the country. Yeah, I think my furthest shipment I'm doing now is out in California.
Oh, beautiful. Well, congratulations.
Thank you.
I look forward to watching your business grow.
Thank you.
And hopefully we'll get some on the Tail Life site.
Yeah, absolutely.
I would love that. So, and let me see what else we have here. Okay, who's that in the background?
You can hear Otis because it's thundering and lightning really bad.
Oh, so. You know what? Mine do the same thing. Yeah. They hate it.
Yep.
Okay, let me go back. Let's put a picture up of Biggie.
Yep, there he is.
Oh, he's precious.
That's him. He was a little younger there. That's probably maybe a year ago. Yeah. He has bibs in every color, every whatever, because when we take him to go get laser treatments, I have to bring a jar of peanut butter with a spoon.
Oh, wow.
The slobber just gets everywhere. So he's got bibs.
And your husband is just as involved with this as you are, right?
He loves them. Absolutely. We actually stopped fostering for a while because he wanted to keep them all.
Oh, and that's amazing.
Not feasible.
I do think, I'm single, and that's one of my big challenges. And my poor mother, God bless, before she passed away in 2019, she passed away at the age of 95. Her big thing was making sure, I had somebody in my life, and she was so concerned about my dogs. And how are you ever going to find someone? I said, listen, I didn't find somebody when I didn't have the dogs. So you know what? I'm going to follow my heart and, see what makes me happy. And when the right person comes along. So I love hearing that both spouses are involved, and each one loves the animals as much as the other. So you had said your husband is probably worse than you in terms of wanting to keep all of them.
Right. But I'm the one that's scooping the poop. So I have the final decision on that.
Yeah, I think that's kind of just standard, though. Yeah. Women end up scooping, poop or scooping. Yep. Okay, let me see what else we have here. I love this. He is just adorable. And is he the one? Which one sleeps with you at night?
Not Biggie. He likes to guard the doors. The Pyrenees comes out in him at night. He doesn't sleep much at night. But Otis and Marvin are in the bed. They kind of get off the bed, then get on the bed, and then get off the bed.
And this is part of your pack.
Yes.
We don't have Biggie, right?
No. Up front, the brown one, that's Marvin with the drool hanging out of his mouth. In the back is Penelope. And then up front is Ella giving the paw for a treat.
They're just beautiful. And is Penelope shy a little bit?
No, she's just well behaved.
Okay. Same thing, yeah. So she looks so sweet. And so let me put up one more. I want to put one up of Ella because I love her story. So Biggie has his story, right? Marvin and Otis, challenges or anything with them. The one has the skin issue though.
Right. Marvin, we don't have challenges with. He came from a bad situation as well. He was bought from a pet store from a girl, and then she found out she was pregnant, so she sold him on Craigslist.
Oh,
And then,
wow.
yeah, and then the person on Craigslist, I have no clue how she got my info. She reached out to me saying that she bought him from this girl and that her Great Danes weren't accepting him and they were attacking him. And so he basically lived in a crate for a
Oh, poor
month. And he
thing.
was only 4 months old when we got him. And my husband drove to Bradenton, met them in a parking lot, and he was covered in urine. He
Oh,
stunk like an ashtray, and he was very, very, very thin.
oh, poor
So
thing. Oh my
he's
God.
he's healthy as can be now. He's just a little clingy. He
Right.
definitely has to be with one of the dogs at all times. But I mean, other than that, he's my shadow.
Oh,
He's definitely
beautiful.
my
Oh,
shadow.
he's so handsome. And what about Penelope?
Penny is all around what the Newfoundland is. She
Okay.
is calm. She is sweet. She does water rescue. She's great in new places. She makes friends at the vet. I mean, she's just what you think of when you think of a Newfoundland is her. She is just, if I could clone her, I would, because she is just the sweetest, happiest puppy ever. And
Wow.
she'll be 8. So I call her a puppy, but she'll be 8.
Wow, she's beautiful. And
Yeah.
of course, then we have sweet Ella.
Yes. Ella, our
And
newest addition.
yes, and why don't you tell her story? Because I think it's just amazing what you are doing for her. And let me put one up just of Ella. Just a moment here. Like I said, I'm getting used to the technical aspects.
Yeah.
Where'd she go? Where did Ella go? Oh, there she is. This adorable photo.
That's when her adult teeth were starting to come in.
So everyone knows Ella, she was born without the ability to see, right?
Yes, she was born with no eyes.
Okay.
She has what we thought was one eardrum. We recently just found out she does have 2, but she has the canal stops on the one side, so you can't really see really into the ear, but she can hear. She
Okay.
has a arched palate. Doesn't affect her eating. It does affect the look of her snout from the side, and then she has the split nose. But she can smell perfectly fine because she knows when the refrigerator opens. But we got her when she was 8 weeks old. Same kind of situation.
Uh-huh.
The breeder needed a special home for her because she was going to require more attention and different attention than a typical puppy. So we went up to meet her, and you couldn't even tell. I mean, she was in the puppy pen with everybody else, just having a good time and running around. And we met her, she was not 8 weeks yet, so I told the breeder I wanted to wait, just to make sure we go home, make sure we're doing the right thing for our pack. And when she came home, she had worms, which was treatable, but we had to keep her separate for a little bit. And she's just been a joy to have. I mean, a lot of work, definitely a lot of work.
Yeah, I understand.
But
and maybe I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Just to talk a little bit about what happens with the breeders, that unfortunately a lot of these lines are bred and overbred.
Yeah.
And then there can sometimes be 1 or 2 or whatever number of puppies out of a particular litter who won't meet the standard of the breeder for sale.
Right.
And that's what's so heartbreaking, is those puppies end up with a disability, many of them, and I hate disability is such a bad word, because it means without ability.
Right.
But we'll just say that they aren't up to the breeder's standard for sale, and then they end up in a shelter, or sometimes just some horrific things happen to them.
Right. And that's what I was worried about, because I was not looking for a puppy. We're busy, but I was so afraid, because she's so cute, that somebody would say, "Oh, I can do it," and then her end up in a shelter, not socialized, not being able to do anything, and as an adult, and then being harder to adopt out. So that's really what made me say, you know what, it's going to be hard, but why not? We have the, I have a house. She needs a home.
Oh, well,
I
thank
just had to
you.
learn how training a blind dog. I've trained deaf dogs. I've trained, physically disabled dogs, but never a blind dog. So I have a friend, Isa, who I reached out to before we brought Ella home, and I was picking her brain on
How do you?
how do I potty train
Right.
a blind dog that can't see the door to go outside.
Wow.
So she really helped me learn how to and shift my brain on how to help her.
And is she trained now? Like she goes out like through a dog door or
Through my slider or the
through?
front door.
Okay.
Yeah, we tried the whole bells thing on the door, but she just wanted to play with them. So it was just getting her to follow the other dogs really is what helped the most. Every time one of them went out, we just took her out with them. And when the 4-month mark hit, it kind of just clicked with her. But yeah, we have bumpers up around the pool cage wherever there's poles. And so she knows where that is because she's crashed a couple times. But she's great. I mean, I can say step. She knows to step up or step down. I say straight or left or right. Or easy means, you're about to crash. You need to slow down. But yeah, I open the slider. She goes right out. I can stomp my feet if she can't pinpoint the sound of my voice, and she'll feel the vibration on the floor, and she'll follow that to come back in. But she's picked everything up. Like every morning I wake up and I look at her and I'm like, if this dog can do it and she's smiling,
anybody can, right?
And she's crashing and she's smiling, I can do it. Like I can be tired and I can still push through and I can still do everything I have to do. That's wonderful. Look at her.
Oh, she's adorable.
She is.
What a blessing. What a blessing you are to her. And I know she is to you. Because the dogs with challenges, I'll just call it a challenge, is they teach you so much. I just had a dog in February, had to have her front leg amputated. And she's like, I don't know, almost 12 years old or 11 when she had it done. And I was really super concerned. But boy, let me tell you, she went from being grumpy to it maybe, the tumor that was growing was causing her to feel down, and it completely shifted her personality. And she just rose up immediately like, okay, I don't have a leg now. I'll just function on these 3.
Yeah.
And so they really do make accommodations. My Great Pyrenees, I think, is losing her sight. She's like 12, and I can see her, kind of searching. And one of the other dogs, she does like a crate to sleep at night. She wasn't ever one that liked it before, but now I think because she's losing her sight, she feels safer. She has her den. But in the morning, Wolfgang will sit and wait for her to come out of her crate and escort her out the door. It's wonderful how they guide each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So I think they have a lot to teach us.
100%. I don't think I had the same amount of energy before her that I do now. It's just, she honestly has brought me a sense of peace with knowing that you got to do it. It's just, it is what it is. And this is how it is. And you got to wake up and you got to go and you got to do it and be happy about what you do have that's good in life.
Well, let's show a video clip of Ella. She is just precious. I hope to meet her one day. Hint, hint.
Absolutely.
I would love to.
Once it's cooler, I can start bringing her to markets.
I'm sure it's hard.
Yeah, with the heat.
Sit. 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 Good girl. Good girl. Come. Step, 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 step. Okay, now sit. Sit. Good girl. Good girl. Good girl.
And how old was she in that particular clip?
Maybe 9 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah. From day one, we had to really, really, really start with the training with her because I didn't want her crashing into things. Right. I mean, I think it hurt me more, but I didn't, I wanted to try to help her as much as possible.
Let me show one more. I think both of them were you giving her treats, but it's just amazing how well she is navigating and just getting around. I guess when you're born without something, you don't know what it's like to have it. So she's just adjusted coming out of the womb.
Mm-hmm.
This is my world, and she doesn't know any different.
And that's what the vet said to us. You know, she's not, this is what she knows. This is her norm. So, you know, she's not suffering.
Wow. So let's.
Crunchy, huh?
That was Marvin, Otis, Penelope, and Ella.
And Ella. Yeah. They're my taste testers for all my treats.
Oh, nice. Nice. What about Biggie?
No, he could care less.
Oh, really?
He takes the treats when you give it to him, but he'd rather sit by the window, looking outside, hang out with the cats. He has that Pyrenees part in him where he feels like he's always on duty.
Wow. And what about with the cats? I forgot that you have 5 cats.
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And how are the dogs with the cats? Because some of like the Pyrenees can sometimes they have that little bit of herding instinct.
Yeah. No, I mean, he's the best with the cats because he's the most chill. But Marvin's really good too. The cats love Marvin. They rub on him. The same thing with Penny. I was worried with bringing Ella in because they smell different and they act different. And they're calm around Ella because she doesn't have that typical puppy chase. When you see, when they see a cat and they're a puppy and they want to chase them. She doesn't do that because she can't see them. She actually will stop dead in her tracks, put her nose up in the air, and she smells like, ooh, what is it?
Nice.
So they're great with, I mean, the cats will win the battle any day. Cats, I mean, the dogs are just so calm and gentle. The cats kind of run it.
So, I mean, I love, I was thinking about Biggie, the Pyrenees. I love the breed.
Mm-hmm.
I love the independence. And Tansy, mine, she's a mix. She's off the streets of Turkey, rescued January 2011. She was being abused by a group of girls, young girls, believe it or not. But when she first came here, she would herd me. She would put her nose into my butt and push me along like I was a goat, like she was hurting me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, this has got to stop. I mean, she would push me and just keep pushing me because, and it wasn't, she'd never herded in her life because she went into a rescue and then, I put her into a rescue and then got her here to Florida. But I guess it was just that natural instinct. And she also ended up on my roof, second story. It's a whole nother story. The fire department came because, they also like to climb. Mm-hmm. So I don't know if Biggie has ever tried to do that, but she was literally like sitting, like she was on the roof and another time on top of a crate. Like was, and then got up on and was counter surfing when she first came on top of the counters because she liked to be up high to look down at the pack because that's her job.
Yeah. No, Biggie, I think because of his legs, he's not a climber. He won't even jump. He's never even jumped up on people before, which is great. But he does, if I'm walking him at night and he sees somebody, he will stop and he leans on me. Like he comes in front of me and he leans back like, gotcha, Mom.
Protecting. Right.
But Marvin, he was one as a puppy. He was going to sit on every table. He was going to lay, like not steal anything, but he was going to climb on the dining room table. And
I have one of those. So.
Yes. Yes.
Have you gotten Marvin cured of that?
Oh yeah. Once, I mean, after he was a year old, he stopped doing that, but yeah, he would lay on top of anything that could be laid on. Yeah.
Chloe, one of my rescues from the island of Eleuthera, I say she's like wanting to go back to island living because she likes to lay on the marble island that's, in my bathroom. And I guess because it's cool. Probably. And I've tried to break her of it, but I've just given up. So
yeah, that's funny.
I know. I listen. I will be the first to say mine are not 100% trained. They're not even, they're really good dogs and they're not aggressive. They're super sweet. And so God bless you for all the training.
Well, I wouldn't say mine are 100% trained. I mean, they're animals, but we
Right.
have fun. I mean, we do.
Good.
We have fun. So there's a lot of play involved.
Yeah.
I I would not trust a couple of them off leash. Only Biggie would I and Penny would I trust off leash walking. But we have fun, and I mean,
Good.
I think that's kind of what it's about.
Oh, I do too. I
Yeah.
say, you don't want them to be obviously attacking people, jumping
Right.
on people. You
Right.
want them to have some manners, but I always try to remember their dogs.
Mm-hmm.
And so I try to let them live as naturally as possible, like dogs would live,
Right.
but still have respect for people when they come up to them. And they're just I love my pack. They're incredibly loving, and I think they're so grateful, which I see that in your dogs. They look to you. They are just so grateful for what you have done for them and taken them out of the circumstances they were in and given them a second chance at life.
I think so. And I think it brings me joy to be able to do that. I think if more people just did the tiniest bit of even just sharing a post or I don't know, just supporting in any way you can, because I know not everybody can foster, not everybody can transport.
Right.
It's a lot. It's a lot, and it becomes overwhelming. But if everybody just did a little bit, we wouldn't have such an issue.
That's why I try to tell people, I'm sure you get the calls like I do. There's an animal that, is in need. I don't know what to do. Can you come rescue him? Can you do this? And eventually, you can only do so much. And I say, well, it's your turn now to step up and step in and help the animals.
Right.
And I understand that if not everybody can go in and rescue, but they can certainly make calls. And so I try to direct them to the right place. They can donate. They can go run a transport for a weekend, even if it's just a small amount. These animals are God's gift to us. They were put here to teach us life lessons, to guide us in our journey. And not everybody sees the immense value that they bring to us each and every day.
Absolutely.
So I pray that things get better for the animals, for everybody, children, everybody all around. But I do believe it starts with the foundation, which is the animals and Mother Earth, and, just really respecting this beautiful place that's our home.
Absolutely. And I grew up that way. I mean, we always had a bird, a rabbit, cat.
I did too.
Dogs.
I always had I had chickens, whatever you name it. So
yeah, so it was just natural to me to, I don't know. I mean, I remember I'm not as bad now, but I was highly allergic to cats as a kid.
Oh, wow.
I mean, I would get hives on my face, my eyes would swell. I was bad. And I was getting ice cream with my dad as a kid. I was young. And I had my ice cream cone in my hand and got out of the car, and I turned around and a cat was in the driveway, and he just meowed at me and jumped in my arms. And my dad was like, your mom's not going to let that cat in the house. And we had him for like 12 years.
Oh, that's great. That's great. So, and I did want to bring up one more thing, is that you are involved with a particular rescue, which is the Newfoundland Mixed Rescue Alliance. You have a Facebook page.
Yes. It is a group of us all throughout the country. There's some of us transport, some pull from shelters, some do application work, some do just sharing, and we have a
Ooh. Well, we lost Angela. Let's see.
There
you are. Okay.
Sorry. So we have a ton of adopters too that come to that page looking for help, and also people looking for help to rehome their dogs. So it's a great group because not every state has the Newfoundland Breed Club rescue. Sure. So we kind of pick up where that falls in the cracks, and also pick their mixes. If they they could be poorly bred, but they'll fall into that mixed category is when we will step in. So it's been a great resource to have. And, we help wherever we can.
So if somebody is interested in a Newfoundland, they can go to your page, your Facebook page.
And we will, yes, we will list who's available. We'll
Okay.
list ones that are in shelters, in
Oh,
foster
beautiful.
homes. We even support other rescues to help them because they're overloaded right now.
Okay. Oh, I know. And just so everyone knows, I mean, the rescues are they are overwhelmed. The fosters are full. The rescues are overwhelmed. The shelters, sadly, are euthanizing more animals than ever before.
Right.
And I think, everybody is sort of freaking out. They hear the word inflation.
Right.
I'll be the first to say it. I run my sanctuary. I'm self-funded, and my dogs used to eat creme de la creme food. And unfortunately, with the inflation, I've had to cut back. So I tell people, don't freak out. Dog chow, listen, it's not optimal, but it's $24.99 for a 48-pound bag from Tractor Supply. And if that's what you've got to do to keep your dog for the next, year or two until this inflation goes down, then that's what you do. But people, it just seems to be this knee-jerk reaction to, well, let me give my dog up.
Right.
Let me give my animal up without trying to figure out a solution.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So let's hope that things ease up because again, everyone I know, I don't have a formal rescue. I don't actually really do rescue placement type things. I just pick them up off the streets and, if somebody wants, find them a home. But everyone that I've talked to just said they're completely overwhelmed.
Yep. That's what I mean everywhere. St. Bernard rescue too. It's
same thing.
It's really, really bad.
I'm sure because the bigger the dog, the more they eat and the expense and so forth.
Well, and also they were home during COVID and thought this is a perfect time to get a puppy. I can potty train. And then they go back to work and this dog is unsocialized, has no manners, no training. And now they're, unfortunately trying to rehome them. And you have a 150-pound dog that has not been trained.
Yeah. Well, thank you for all you do for the rescues. Thank you for all you do for your pack. You go above and beyond. They're all blessed. Biggie, Ella, Marvin, Otis, and Penelope. I got them all right.
Yes.
I don't know the cats, and thank you from the cats as well. And I think it's fabulous what you're doing with your new company, Biggie Bees, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you.
Can't wait to see it grow. And is there anything else you want to share for tonight?
No, I think we covered it all. I appreciate you having me on. Absolutely.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much. And thank you just for everything that you do. Very honored to have had you on the show. And so everyone knows this will be replaying on YouTube and Rumble, also on Facebook. But don't forget, let's take this down for just a minute so everyone can see. You can go on Biggie Bees, BIGGIEBEES.com to purchase some of Angela's delicious natural treats. And let me ask you a question. Can you eat it as a human?
I've tried them all.
Okay, I do. Somebody sent me some the other day. A friend, she sent me some treats. She has a company in South Florida. And I'm like, this look really good. So I started eating. They were delicious.
Yeah, I try them all.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Angela. Have a great night.
You too. Thank you.
All right. And just to let everyone know, we have another podcast coming up on Saturday, episode 5, featuring Esther, who's involved in Greyhound Rescue, another larger breed. And she will also share her tale of how she got into martial arts, which is, she's just kicking butt with martial arts.
Awesome.
So anyway, I look forward to seeing everybody back on Saturday at 2:00 here on Facebook, Rumble, YouTube, and so forth. Thank you. Have a good night. Bye.